Hi there, Simon from simonwoods.com. 3 Portuguese wines in front of me today, 2 from the same producer and the same region, the Douro, but I'm starting off in the Alentejo with Marques de Borba 2011, made by the eminent enologist João Portugal Ramos. So grapes here, there's a little bit of Cabernet Sauvignon and Syrah in there, but there's also some of the more traditional Portuguese ones, Aragonés, also known as Tempranillo, Touriga Nacional and Alicante Boucher, a grape that was sort of like dismissed in southern France, but seems to, in parts of the Alentejo, does make some really terrific and fragrant wine. Anyway, let's give it a whirl. Well, I stick my nose in there and there's a juicy, soft, just the right side of jamminess about it. It feels like it's going to be fresh and bouncy, and there's a fragrance about it as well. I don't know, there's the Syrah, I think, goes always giving fragrance there, but there's fruit fragrance and there's floral characters as well. It smells really good, nice perky, perky wine. I mean, it's just before Christmas now. I don't know when I'll get to posting this, but I imagine having this with turkey would be pretty good. Oh, and that's a pleasure to drink. To taste. It's got this rounded, rich, jolly fruit, but it's got a freshness about it as well. It's got this earthy feel of the soil about it, and it's got the fragrance as well. I'm not sure how much oak they've used here, but it feels unhampered by any over woody characters, and jolly nice glug. I like that. Next one I've got, the next 2 from the same winery. It's the Duorum winery. So this is their Tons Duorum. So I think this is their entry-level wine. I can't remember how many tiers they've got. I think they've got 3 tiers. So I've got the lower tier and the middle tier. Anyway, this one is the Tons Duorum, red 2010, and grapes. I imagine it's a typical Douro blend with quite a bit of Touriga Nacional and Touriga Franca and Tinta Roriz, maybe pepped up by some of the other grape varieties. Anyway, I'll give it a sniff. Well, it doesn't smell quite as vibrant and buoyant and boisterous as the Marques de Borba. It smells okay. There's this rounded, plummy, red berry character, maybe a bit of damson in there. But just feels a little bit restrained. I don't know whether it needs to come out of its shell, but today it just smells okay, but hard act to follow. Anyway, let's taste it. Bit of toffee, this red berry and plum. It's okay, but it doesn't have the extra mile for me. It's a nice, juicy, honest drink, but I think there are better Douro wines. Let's see whether the third one is a better Douro wine. So it's the same vintage, but it's called Duorum Colheita. Colheita just means from a vintage, really. And some people put it on their top class wine. Some people just use it to denote that it's all from 1 year. But I think the ambition here is slightly more. I don't know if it says anything on the back about how different we're expecting it to be. Interesting thing is that they're all made by this guy João Portugal Ramos, but it seems to be that his Alentejo stuff. Well, on the looking at those first 2, it seems to be he seems to be more at home with that style. Anyway, I may be being pejorative. Let's try this one and see how good he is in a tier up in the Douro. And this smells more interesting. There's a wilder edge here. There's a more confident, rounded berry feel as well. It feels like the fruit is fresher. It feels like it's more concentrated, but it doesn't feel like it's trying to assault you with power. It feels like there's a bit of silkiness there, and I get more of a sense of soil here rather than just winemaking. Yeah, quite classy wine that. There's this richer, plummy edge, but it's got more structure to it as well. It's got acidity, it's got tannin, and it's like the flesh is draped over it. So it's a stronger skeleton, but more flesh to drape over it. And so the flavours I'm left with, there was a little bit, I was talking about that slight toffee edge. I get a little bit of that treacly sweetness here. I mean the flavours rather than the sugar edge. Does that make sense? Does to me. But then there's this lovely fruit. And it's a relaxed type of fruit, whereas the first one was that was boisterous and fresh. Here, through the art of élevage, the aging in the barrel, it's just had some of its gawkier edges knocked off, and because it was quite big and stern in the first place, that was no bad thing, and it's emerged in very tasty fashion, actually. So I like its richness. It's strange. It's got soft fruit flavours, but they're still ripe. It doesn't feel like they're aging too fast. And just when you think it might just be a little bit too ripe and wobbly, you feel this backbone coming through. Yes, probably toss it between that and the Marcus de Borba for which of these is my favourite. But maybe a dip in the middle with the tons, but all have something to say. I have lots to say too, but not now. So I'll say goodbye. See you soon.